Whilst you were out partying and chasing girls, I was studying the blade. Whilst you were doing drugs and at the gym, I mastered my art. Perfected the craft, may it be by blade of sword or strike of fist. All who oppose shall fear me, for I have the power of God and anime on my side. So, back in the day, say 2017, 2018, me and my friends thought Titanfall 2's Master difficulty was the hardest thing to beat, and to this day, some of my friends still revere the challenge of beating it. So, friend, you remember Titanfall 2, yes?
Yeah.
Can I get your take on Master difficulty? Challenge-wise, was it hard?
Oh, yeah, fuck. That was a nightmare to go through.
Oh, it was a nightmare, yeah?
Yeah.
What if I told you I found a way to make the game harder?
Oh god, how?
This video was originally supposed to be me beating the campaign on Master difficulty, but when I streamed it, I found that Master difficulty was easier than I remember it being, back when I was playing on console and was also 14. But after watching a friend play through for the first time, they gave me a spark of inspiration.
Melee only gameplay?
This is bait for my mental illness and I do not object. After just beating the campaign fairly easily, I figured doing it melee only would give me the proper challenge I was expecting, and I definitely got what I wanted. We're pro-fisting, okay? Ow. Oh shit, he's inside the building! Ah, fuck. No, BT, you bitch! What the fuck? Oh, yep. Oh, shh. Look at him, 2 hearts. 2 hearts left. If he wasn't so hard to hit. How about taking a break, because the longer you play, the worse you play? Sure, let's speedrun Dishonored instead. But this was a year ago, and now I have 2 runs. My first was unstructured, to say the least, but now we have my real run, an actually properly structured run, in where I have matured, and I have found more discipline in following my own rules. Also, I've gotten way better at the game, so it was faster. But speaking of my rule set, we should probably establish what I'll be following for this run, shan't we? Big obvious, no gun, no grenade. Should go without saying. Now, Titans are where things get a little tricky. No guns still, but also ordinances and cores are not allowed, with the exception of sword core, at least when I'm piloting. But BT is allowed to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants, God help him. However, some of the utilities are allowed, but not all of them. Titan specific. The permitted ones are Tone, Sonar Lock, Ronin's Phase Dash, and North Stars and Brutes VTOL Hover. This disqualifies Expedition's Electric Smoke, Scorch's Incinerate Trap, and Ion's Tripwire. But, again, BT can use any of these at any time, as he pleases. And he definitely doesn't please. Gas trap, incendiary. I get it, heat shield is cool, but flame wall! Flame wall, you idiot! Basically, if the tactical does damage, I can't use it. And also, all defensive abilities are allowed. Just all of them, regardless of class, including Vortex Shield, which technically isn't melee, but shut up. Shit. Oh, and no major skips. I want to play this out as much as possible, even the annoying parts. But with that out of the way, we can actually get to the run. After crashing down, one of the first things that will be noticed is that Jack is really squishy. Now, after it gets promoted to pilot, you get many tricks to avoid damage and getting in and out quickly. Any section without a kill requirement to move on is a breeze. Just skip past the big dudes with guns, cloak when appropriate. Surely BT can handle those 2 tones.
I'm engaging a hostile Titan.
Yeah, I know you are, shut up. Even in the required fight sections, for example, at the end of BT 7274 and Blood and Rust, the maneuverability of a pilot makes getting hit difficult, but still very possible, and the cloak makes hit and runs fairly easy if greed doesn't take over. BT, on the other hand, is a 20-ton tin can, slow, cumbersome, and in terms of melee, weak. Until Scorch, until Ronin. The best thing to do when encountering a group of Titans is to simply run past it if available. Not until you get Scorch does Titan brawling become a bit more viable as strategy, but it's still preferably avoidable. There's still a type of Titan that we've yet to talk about, more dangerous than any group. Boss Titans are special boys that show up at the end of certain levels. There's 5 of them throughout the game, and I'm gonna put it simply, Kain is a bitch, undeserving of love.
You were not invited to Kane's party, and that's why you're dead. Well.
Scorches are one of the highest damage dealers in multiplayer. They're so destructive that one of their kits is literally the ability to not get damaged by their own thermite. This is the first boss. In normal, master difficulty, you can beat Kain quite easily. Just equip Tone and turn off your brain. However, accounting for the massive health pool, the massive pools of fire, and the massive damage I take when I get in his face, this fight is certified bullshit. Is how I felt about Kain when I first started the run, but now I have this chucklefuck solved like 1st grade math. The first way I found to beat Kain was getting up to this elevated platform, then parrying all of his shots with Vortex Shield. The platform negates Firewall, Heat Shield, and with good timing, Incendiary Trap. Then every shot taken at you is damage for him, and every Incendiary Trap is time for you to recharge your shields. Worst bit about this strat is that Vortex Shield is kinda inaccurate, and whilst this is still within the rules, it technically isn't melee. So the strat that's more adherent to the spirit of melee only rather than the rules, and the one that I went with for my official run, is you give BT Expedition and you yeehaw the bitch. The best spot to execute the cowboying is over in the corridor on the right side of the map. Kain can be hurt by his own thermite, and thus when he deploys the gas trap, it keeps distance between BT and he. This distance is desirable to keep BT alive, which is also why he's equipped with Expedition. The electric smoke BT gives off allows for more opportunity for distance, giving almost unlimited time on this mechanical bolt. Also, the XO16 chain gun has a faster fire rate, reload speed, and twice the ammo of the 40mm cannon, dealing overall more damage and allowing for less opportunity for Kain's shield to recharge. The only problem with this strat being BT has watched too much JoJo and has started to idealize Ronin.
ほう、向かってくるのか。逃げずにこのディオに近づいてくるのか。近づかなきゃ、てめえをぶちのめせないんでな。ほうほう。では十分近づくがよい。
Mates out there standing in pools of thermite and actively shoving his face in Kain's shield. See, while Kain is reluctant to step into his thermite, BT is not. He will charge headlong for the opportunity to deck Kain no matter what's in his path. At least my BT did, the bloodthirsty bitch. But now with Kain dead in 2 different ways, we can finally move on to the rest of the game. Immediately after killing Kain, the game gives us a beautiful gift. Introducing now, Heat Shield, our primary damage dealer until Ronin is found, though care is still needed with it. Whilst dumping Heat Shield on a Brute, Ronin, or Northstar will instantly kill them, anything beefier will need a little bit more oomph. My personal favorite way of is rodeoing. It works. Fortunately though, we don't have long until the babysitter comes in and takes BT off our hands. Unfortunately, before we can pick BT back up, we need to bounce over a few guys and fight a new nuisance. Side note, did you know you can hide here? I never knew. I always jumped off. Well, I didn't know before starting this challenge. I always jumped off and did the bits down there, but it's totally, like, not necessary. Ignore the ticks. They're friendly. Those ticks are, being real passive. Oh, there we go. Anyway, it's time to fight Mr. Reapy Man. He's not as hard as he may look. I mean, he is if you try punching him, good luck with that. But for this fight, we need friends, not them. The strat is to take this guy's shit ticks and throw it back in his face. The problem with this is actually getting the ticks close enough to deal damage without immediately dying yourself. It'll take some smart maneuvering and some clever cloaking, but it's doable. Pretty sure after the second Reaper starts smoking, the goons are sent in to kill you, and you get to slip past them pretty easily, so you don't even have to kill both of them fully. Just one of them, though. But now we reunite with BT and jaunt our way down to the next boss of this area.
Put a high price on your head, pilot. Dead or alive, that makes you worth something to me.
Ashe is similar to Kayn as their high damage dealer, but most of Ashe's damage is in the form of melee, and I am still very under-equipped to thrive in this environment. There are also, in this arena, a bunch of infantry and a singular Reaper. The Reaper is a potential battery, but it's very costly to get it, and it should only be grabbed if desperation calls. But the infantry is just annoying. They can be mostly ignored, but a good run can be ended by getting shot by Joe Schmo as you jump off after a battery steal. So getting BT to clear some specters before triggering the boss is a smart move. Now, unlike Kayn, who I've solved like math, I have solved Ashe like a slot machine. I know how to win, but will I this run? Will the dice roll in my favor? Probably not. Killing Ashe is really dependent on how competent BT is feeling that day. The way I did this is I dump Heat Shield to break her shield, punch once to stagger, then I get out and rodeo, just like I do with Kayn, but instead of giving BT Expedition, he keeps Scorch. This is so that every shot BT fires plops Thermite, which hopefully deters Ashe from approaching, and even more hopefully will hurt her more. Also, anytime BT uses Firewall or Incendiary Trap is just more distance and more damage. But that's very dependent on how BT is feeling that day, and he really doesn't want to. Either that or he keeps missing the incompetent bitch. There's not much agency here, just hoping things go right, but once she's dead, we get to move on to the best and unfortunately the easiest mission. In this level, our cloak is replaced with the coolest gimmick that Dishonored 2 stole 13 days later. Seriously, 2016 was a great year for AAA. This can be initially scary until you realize that the time glove is just cloak, but infinite. The present is basically empty with a few panthers around and a handful of rogue stalkers, and everything needed in the past has guards that can be easily walked around. Like this room with the elevator. My first time through, I fell into the genocide fallacy, the idea that every enemy needs to be killed before moving on to the next area. In some cases, this isn't a fallacy. It is actually necessary to kill all the enemies before proceeding, like the 4 Spectres and Singular Titan at the end of BT-7274, or the Reapers and Titans before our next boss. But oftentimes it isn't necessary. Like, if you wait for the guys in the last elevator to leave, it becomes pretty easy to enter without killing any enemies. Same with the Titans at the end of the level. Ignoring them, though, makes this area the easiest in the game, which was really unfortunate because I really liked this level. This is a Fort Frolic all over again. Yeah, Fort Frolic. I loved Fort Frolic the first time I did it. Imagine playing Fort Frolic. Are we just gonna skip all of Fort Frolic? Are we just gonna skip all? It's 2 minutes? Okay, we're just skipping all of Fort Frolic. I guess we're not playing a lot of Fort Frolic. And finally, we get Ronin. It won't be until the end of the level we actually get to use him, but having him makes the area's Titan sections a breeze. But the Arc Tool and the Cranes. Actually getting Arc Tool is pretty easy. Most of the enemies are hop-overable, with an exception in this Robo Room. Though, it should only be a few kills before the door in the back opens. But the Cranes after BT's fastball is where things get a bit harder, as there's a ton of dudes here. But we also have the Arc Tool to help us out. With this we can activate Stalker Pods and get them to help us, and open up alternative paths. There's also the Cranes themselves. Normally you're supposed to move the Cranes to provide platforms to wall run off of. I chose to climb the Cranes and just jump off the arm. I mean, I wasn't gonna kill this Reaper here, and time was of the essence. I can't wait for these Cranes to slowly move into position, then slowly move back. So I just jumped over them. But now that we have our radio battery, we have one more infantry section, a bit of parkour, some Reapers and Titans, and off to the boss of this level.
Care to have a real fight? Let's see what you got up close and personal. Order Mr. Beck.
Up close and personal, while playing as a tone. It's like an artillery piece telling a tank to get ready for a fist fight. You're not supposed to do that. At this point we have Ronin, so the strategy's simple. Dump Heat Shield, dump Sword Core, nothing personal, kid his Salvo Core when it happens, and then go in with the sword, block when necessary. I legit turned off my brain for this fight. I got jumped by multiple people today? What the fuck happened? I was walking, Fucking...
Then Gandalf the Grey and Gandalf the White and Monty Python and the Holy and Benito Mussolini and the Blue Meanie and Cowboy
of course.
and John B. the Genie.
We're finally reaching the end of the game, the final few levels and the final few challenges, starting with this wave of Titans. Fortunately, we can run past a lot of it, and with Ronin running is safer than it's ever been. But not this first group. This initial fight has 3 waves, and no, BT can't handle this, even with friends. So there's 3 strategies. You have Smart Coward, Dead Chad, and Sneaky Cunt. Elaboration. This should be simple. Smart Coward is you chill in the back and let your friends die on the front line. If you're feeling real helpful, you can give BT tone and let him shoot fuckers from a distance. Dead Chad is when you fight every Titan with your brother in arms and kick the IMC's ass in your Ronin, except you can't use your gun or arc wave, and you die really quickly. Good luck with this one. And finally, Sneaky Cunt. You phase dash to the door, and you just wait for it to open. If you want to kill some dudes whilst you're back there, go right ahead. To help your friends out, or something. As long as you keep an eye on BT's health, you can do whatever back here. Now, obviously, these strategies aren't mutually exclusive, and actually, they synergize with each other quite well with the specific waves of the fight. Smart Coward is to let your friends thin the initial herd, then you go in with Dead Chad to clear a path to the back and clean up any low health North Stars, Tones, or Ions. All 3 of those fucking suck. And then Sneaky Cunt to chill it and wait for the door to open. After this, it's best to help Sarah Briggs with at least the Legion and the First Scorch. After that, running past the group before the elevator will make Sarah follow you up for some reason. She ignores them as well. It's very nice of her. Big note. Before entering this corridor with the Legion, Sarah cannot be aggro to anyone outside of the door, or her AI will break, and she'll just be stuck humping this wall. It was super frustrating, because once the door closes, a checkpoint triggers, and there's no way to get back without restarting the entire thing, and you'll have to do the entire front line again, and this entire front line fucking sucks. There are so many Titans. But after the elevator up, it's just a sprint to the finish. Ignore all enemies, grab batteries when passing by them, and hopefully you saved your sword core for this, because this is where it's needed most, for this level specifically. Just for the infinite dashes and collecting life support from a few Reapers at the halfway point. But it's time for a bit of foreplay before the main event. Be quick with this. This is short and boring. Jumpy, be careful of the shakes. Stalker. Punch this guy in the gun. Hold it steady, Stera. I love watching textures fight. I'm gonna let them breach instead. Piloting the boat. Do. Are you sure, are you sure you're not gonna punch me with that BT? That seems really dangerous. And alright, time for the hardest boss.
Viper's on station. Your journey ends here, pilot. The skies belong to me. Nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide.
This boss was the catalyst of my friend group's reference for Master Difficulty, and since starting this challenge, my personal appreciation towards this fight has amplified, as well as my respect for it, and less so for these goddamn tone mains. I cannot believe these fuckers are like, how do I beat Viper on Master Difficulty? I'm using like the toned loadout. You dumbass. How do you need help with Viper on Master Difficulty when you're using Tone? He's the easiest fucking class. This was the lowest, most painful part of the run, but beating him without some cheap bug, but through a repeatable strategy, has given me an emotional high that I am still coming down from a year later. Holy shit. Oh my fucking god. Holy shit. I'm fucking sweating right now. Holy shit. This strategy for the fight is rather simple whilst being incredibly difficult to pull off. First, the 2 Scorches that accompany him. The easy bit. If you get them to follow you down this narrow alleyway, you can just go around this tall bit and knock them off. Pretty easy. Now the hard part. Viper himself. He has 7 squares of health on Master Difficulty. Once he hits 4 squares of health, he starts flying and refuses to come down, the no-hit zone. The idea is to get his health as close as possible to 4 without pushing him over the threshold. And as he does his volley, his flight core, spam sword core on one of his footsies. A few problems: if V has any shield left, he will survive. Look at the health, it's so fucking close. Now, I personally used Heat Shield to melt off his shields. Heat Shield shouldn't be used after melting his shields whilst his shields are up, mainly because it's really hard to keep track of his health while it's up. except for when he lands after Flight Core. Once he lands after Flight Core, a little bit of extra damage as he's coming down or as he lands and is starting to lift off should chip away the last bit of health, but maybe he's already dead. I don't know, it's hard to tell. This fight goes really fast, while it's taking an incredibly long time to do. But also, another thing is that when he gets knocked off the ship, he recenters himself. Normally this is a good thing because that gives him time where you can attack him and chip his health away, whilst he is not really in a position to attack you. He's a bit finicky with his flying around. But if it's like your chance to kill him and he gets knocked off, then he decides to do Flight Core as he's realigning, he will be like, it doubles his height. He goes like way in the air. So there goes your chance to kill him. Wait till the next cycle, I guess. And then finally, if you don't have enough health, you'll die, obviously. Seriously, his Flight Core really hurts. So keeping your health around half health is ideal. Maybe a little bit of shields left. It'll be very close with half health. And of course, you should grab the batteries from back to front so you have more batteries closer to where he does the flight. Just like obvious strat. Further batteries grabbed first, so it's, yeah, you got it. This fight is incredibly difficult to figure out. It's incredibly hard to get the rhythm of it. But once you kill him the first time, this strategy is repeatable, and it'll be so much easier the second time. So after that excruciating fight, BT dies. Ugh, finally. I mean, oh no, how sad, oh no. This joke doesn't even work, because the game doesn't get any easier from here. If anything, this is the biggest spike in difficulty for just flatly. I was about to say the pilot sections, but no, the next Titan section is actually really hard too. This is the part of the game that wants you to feel like an absolute space badass. Look, my gun thinks for me! Who am I kidding? This is the boost I use, but like, I was also a Toad main. People change, okay? For this strat, momentum is key. You gotta move fast. There's really no describing it. This corridor here with all the dudes is probably the hardest bit, except for this bit here with the door. Cause like this area overwhelms you with like 50 dudes, and you can't cloak anymore. So like, good luck jumping over the 13 dudes here, or the 6 dudes here, or even the 3 dudes here, because like, you can't pick all those guys off with your fists, not if you're like stupid about it. This is like the most pacifist area the game gets. It's incredibly difficult, but after getting past it, we can reunite with definitely BT, definitely the same Titan, and we can let artillery carry us, just like phase dash past the big boys, let the artillery blow them up for us, and after all these Titans are dead in this corner, the door opens and we can just slip by, without having to kill this Scorch and this North Star. It's actually very convenient. And we get to fight our final boss.
I think our militia pilot's trying to be a hero. He's all yours. Keep the salvage.
Who said anything about salvage? I'll do this one for free.
Oh, Salami, how many batteries do you have that allows you to laser core every 5 fucking seconds? This fight is pretty basic. It's just... There are 3 phases to the fight. After every phase, she drops a battery. The initial phase is just Salami and a single brute. 1 heat shield should kill the brute, and I know it's tempting, but save your core for later. Once she's dropped down to 3 squares of health, Salami dips out, drops a battery, and 2 goons come to help, a Toad and a Scorch. This is where you want to use your sword core, on these 2 bozos. Now, after one of these guys dies, Salami reappears, and will continue to laser core you, the stupid bitch. But dropping her down to 2 squares, you should have your sword core back, and she dips out, and 3 Reapers will spawn, as well as a few battery specters. This is a prime opportunity to top off on any health if you already grabbed the environmental batteries. And here you can simply kill the Reapers and dump sword core on Salami. If she has any remaining health, smack her with the big sword and dump heat shield until she's in doom state where you execution her. Pretty simple fight. Real easy. I did my explaining, now I get to complain. What the fuck, Salami? This fight isn't as hard as Kain or Viper, but boy is it fucking annoying. 3 laser cores in a row? 3! There's actually not that much complaining to do, it's just multiple laser cores. Thing is, I don't know, it's a little annoying. It's a little silly how she says, can't dodge a laser core, but every single laser core is incredibly easy to dodge. It's very ironic. But, game over! Da 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 da.